Yes, my name is Ginny Rogers, and I'm with the Center for Independent Living of Central PA. I have a long time history with Centers for Independent Living in general and working with people with disabilities over my career. So accessible housing, whenever you think of it, just think about access. And access means your ability to get in, to be able to move about in the place. So it might be things like doorways, making sure that doorways are wide enough so that a people who uses a wheelchair can easily get in. It might mean that there is a ramp if needed or no step entry. Um, if there happen to be steps within the place, maybe there's some kind of a lift that can help you be able to get in and get up to a different level in the home. But it also can have to do with things like lowering counters, having a higher toilet seat, having grab bars on the walls. So it really is both those things, but it also could be much more. It really very much depends on the person and what that person needs to make a home accessible. Generally, when we think about accessible housing, it's generally to meet a need of a person with disability. So um, that could also include older adults. So when you think about somebody who might need access or egress, as people age, for example, they may have difficulty using stairs. So having a no step entry can really remove that barrier to the person and just making them able to stay in their home. The same would go for a wheelchair user, somebody who's blind, any kind of a disability where there could be physical barriers for the person. But those, when we think about accessible housing, those are, I think, are the primary populations of people that we're talking about. So that is a good question. Um, So oftentimes people will use the internet. I mean, thank goodness for the internet because it puts things literally at our fingertips. And Pennsylvania has spent a lot of time actually trying to develop resources so that people have access to housing and housing resources. So there are, for example, there's a website called the PA Housing Search um, that it's one of the resources that we recommend almost right away because landlords can get on there. They can put their own information up there about what apartments that they have available to people. Property managers, anybody can use it, whatever's available. So oftentimes that is a really good resource. Depending on you can search it by county, you can search it by what you're looking for. Oftentimes these properties, especially if we're looking for affordable accessible housing, there may be waiting lists. So that site is also good because it can help you remove certain sites if there's an existing waiting list. But there are other sites. The Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, has resources for subsidized housing. um, Pennsylvania has a website. If you just type in low income housing, the Department of Human Services there has a number of resources that are available for people. So it is really getting involved with it, finding what the resources are, and then going through them. There are certain eligibility rules. It really depends on what you're looking for. So if you're somebody who needs some kind of a subsidized housing place, you would look within these resources and try to find what those things are. So it's still Central PA. We can help people with those resources. Make sure that we're working with you. Um, Sometimes all people need is a phone number and they're good to go. But something like housing, depending on where people come from, like in terms of um, are you already experiencing homelessness? Are you in a piece of property that maybe is not affordable to you, so you need to make another choice about where you're going to live? So we can help people essentially try to manage that. Because sometimes it takes a long time, and depending on what area you're looking to go in your personal circumstances, you may have to apply for get onto a waiting list. I think one of the hardest things right now that people are experiencing, not just here in Central PA, but much more broadly throughout Pennsylvania at least, is affordable housing. Housing is important for everybody. It's how you are safe, how you're able to really move on with your life. Safe housing is just something that everybody should have across the board. So there's a lot of work being done, advocacy with state legislators, with our human services folks to really look at housing and how we can make sure that um, what people need is available, plain and simple. That housing stock matches up with housing need, but we have a long way to go. So I'm here at the Center for Independent Living. You could reach me either through my email. It's G Rogers, ROGERS, at CILCP.org, or my phone number, 717 731 1900, extension 212. Thank you.